All right, newly appointed Justice Minister Amir Ohana is now getting into very hot water after insinuating during his inaugural speech this week that there are some court rulings that can be ignored in the interest of citizens' safety. But Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit and High Court President Esther Chayut are understandably shaken by this sentiment, with Mandelblit responding that the court's decisions are not optional, and with Chayut claiming that such policy is a short path away from anarchy. And here to discuss this further is Davidi Hermelin, the president of the International Center for Public Diplomacy in Israel, Hod Karovy, a political advisor for the Labour Party, Ziv Maor, chairman of Israel Media Watch, and finally Sheldon Schorer, attorney and former lecturer on constitutional matters. Thank you all very much for coming in, gentlemen.
Pleasure.
All right, so actually I'll start with you, Ziv. Who's right in this situation and why?
Well, there is no doubt that the new Minister of Justice is right. I welcome Israel into a long list of glorious democracies that have a tradition of disobedience to the court when the court crosses line, the United States being the first among those democracies. Judges, administrative judges specifically across the world know that then when they cross certain lines, when they undermine democracy and go against distinguishedly democratic decisions of people who were elected to make decisions, the sanction would be disobedience. Now, this at this moment is merely a statement of the new Minister of Justice, but I really look forward to see it happen in many issues where we have that the Supreme Court of Israel undermined Israeli democracy in issues such as immigration, in issues that regarded security, and so on.
I'm shocked. No, I disagree entirely. It is the job of the Justice Minister to execute the laws and to protect the laws of the State of Israel, not to violate them. Now, what has happened here, if the Supreme Court makes a decision, it has taken into account the issues of protecting citizens. I don't think that the Supreme Court necessarily comes out with decisions against it. If it's a legal decision, I trust the Supreme Court over him. If it's a political decision, I trust the Prime Minister and other political organs over him. It is not his job to make those decisions. His job is to carry out the decisions. Now, every functionary has certain rights to make discretionary decisions, such as a policeman. But it's not the job of the policeman to say, I don't like this law, so I'm not going to carry it out.
And a judge is allowed to ignore laws that they don't like?
That's not their, no, they have to follow the laws, and it's his job to follow
And
laws.
what happens when they
If
don't?
the law is wrong, if he thinks the law is wrong, there are procedures for doing it, and maximum, he can resign if he feels it's wrong to do it, but not to violate the law on his own.
I agree with you, but I must say that we have to bear in mind that there's a situation in the last few years that not many of the public are totally against Bagat's decisions, and they're losing their faith in Bagat, and it's an issue, and it's an issue that we have to think about. You're right about what you said. We have to think about it and do it in a delicate way, and to think about it, how to solve this problem. But this is a huge issue that many people in Israel don't agree with the Bagat's decisions, mainly, in things that regarding to the army or the Arabs. This is something we have to think about, losing the faith of the people.
First of all, we should note the clarification by Minister Ohana earlier today. And he said, of course, we should follow the law and the decisions of the courts, especially the Supreme Court. But on the ground, when we see that there is risk of life, so the first priority is to save life. And I will add, for example, as if commander in a battlefield will tell you to do something which is illegal, you will not follow what. Please don't disturb me. Please don't disturb me. You will not follow the illegal order, but you will say this is basically against the sense of the law. But I would like to say another thing. Even before this clarification, it's not acceptable that the Judge Chayut expressed her point of view. She is a civil servant. This is a political debate. And the fact that Judge Chayut allowed herself to express her personal point of view regarding her job, regarding her position, This is unheard, unacceptable,
No,
it's
a duty. No, it's a duty.
and that
She must do
should be stopped. She should judge
Well,
by the
okay.
law, and she should not involved
So-
in political debates.
So everyone
Even
has
if
the
she's right, it's not important. It's not her place, and it's about time that we will say that the Supreme Court is making decisions against the law. For example, the fact that they even allow themselves to discuss about the nation-state law, the last basic law, as we said, which is constitutional law. This is not their place, and it will be stopped. Enough is enough, and we are now in new era.
All right. Everyone has the right of freedom of speech except for Judge Chayut. I don't
Right.
know-
She
I
has
don't
the
Because
right to
she's civil
resign. She has
servant.
the right to resign
She's
and say
civil
whatever
servant.
she wants.
She
She
has
has the
no
right to
freedom of
Hold on,
speech.
hold on.
First of all, she's not the issue here, and I'm sorry that you made her the issue. But yes, she cares about the operation of law and the process of law.
She should not talk
And she
about
has-
it.
She absolutely has a right to say it, both as a citizen and as a Supreme
She
Court judge.
embodies
Yes.
the issue
It's
by
a
being
duty.
one in a long list of judges that crossed the line and politicized their position, thus creating enormous mistrust of the Israeli public in the
Well, but-
Supreme Court. This is the reason why she is the story.
Well, but again, I want to.
This is the main story of
I want
today.
to clarify with a question on that to follow up. Again, is it not the judge's job, in a sense, to say that this, no, you can't not follow the law?
No, it is not the job of
That's
a
not-
judge to intervene in political discussions. Now, one
No,
must
but
understand.
to respond and say you should follow the letter of
she
the
has
law.
got no right to express herself in political discussion.
But to say to follow, how is that political? To say
First
follow
of all,
the law?
saying that Ohana's
It's not
statement
political, it's
is
the law,
taking us to
and it's a
anarchy
duty.
is an extreme political statement that is using harsh and completely inappropriate language.
let's
But put it
assume-
aside. Put it aside. We do not have a constitution. The pseudo constitution that we have does not authorize judges to intervene in political issues, and they constantly do it. And the legislators and our elected do not have any instruments to fight against it. Disobedience was left the last tool in the arsenal that democracy has against this hyperactive Supreme Court.
I think it's not just that she has to do it, it's her duty to do it because she has the experience, she has the position to look at things not in the eye of the political minister, whatever it is. We have to put people that in charge with their experience and their knowledge, and to say things like this, they have to say it. You don't
In
have
closed
to.
room,
You
in
don't,
a closed room,
you don't,
not in public.
You
It's
don't.
not acceptable
you don't,
anymore.
You don't
It's
have
enough.
to agree, but she can say whatever she wants. It's a democracy. You can talk about it. It's a democracy, and then to decide what is best for us in Israel.
She
You
should
don't have to shut
resign
them up.
today
Hold on.
after what
Well,
you said.
Okay, well, I want to bring us back to the
Even if
original
she was
topic.
right, because it was before the
Well,
clarification.
I'd like to bring us back to the original topic at hand right now and kind of ask a follow-up question. You're saying, okay, in situations of human life, well, but who will be the decider? Who gets to decide whether or not it matters to human life and whether or not they're allowed to ignore
Nachon.
that, any specific ruling? Who gets to decide and when? Under what circumstances?
My sincere answer to you will be that it was a very interesting discussion during my first year in law school, and there are no clear answers about it. But sometimes when you see human life, that you should save, you don't go to see the verdict of the Supreme Court or whatever.
You're
You
making
just
it
go to save the life. Later, people will judge you.
Very simple and short answer to that. The people who we elected to make such decisions, we could pay them back in the elections either whether we like or dislike their decisions. Those are the ones who make decisions in a democracy.
Look, strange cases where human life is everyone thinks that human life is important. Fine, but those are the rare cases where we're
That's
talking
what we
about
talked
a
about.
general proposition. Does a functionary, a civil servant, does the Attorney General have the right to make decisions on his own that contravene those given the instructions
No,
above?
because it was
if
not
the
elected.
Supreme Court, look, one of the problems of any constitution is to divide power. Who has the power to decide? And ultimately, at least in the United States, it was decided that the Supreme Court is the ultimate repository of the power to decide what the laws are and what the millions are. That seems to be what the law is here. Now, if we don't like the laws here, as you said, the Constitution of Israel is weak. Perhaps have a constitution, distribute the power in a way that was generally acceptable to all. But at the current time, the Supreme Court, the judiciary, is the last place that makes the decisions, not political functionaries.
So you agree with Amir Ohana, who said that we should
thoughts?
follow the law and the Supreme Court's decisions, but if you have on the ground case of human life to save, so you first save of life. Thank you,
I did not
behalf of
say that.
Amir
Don't
Ohana.
put words
and
in my
the
mouth.
people.
I did not say
But-
that.
Okay. Unfortunately, we have to end it there. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming in. It's been a real pleasure. I wish we could continue this conversation longer. Unfortunately, we didn't solve the crisis today, but maybe next time. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.